As you can see out here behind us, the wind's blown up a little bit. We weren't hoping for this, but we got it anyway. So listen, it's just what happens on the big jobs. We're going to shoot up, I believe it's called the boner arm, and see what we can do. See if we can catch a yeller or two. It'll all depend on this wind, so out for now. Right, so the object is, what we're going to do is we're going to cast out. Now what you want to do is you want to palm the rod. You want to have the rod here with your finger touching the blank, so you get the sensitivity of the small lure. Right? Have your fingers wrapped around the reel how you feel comfortable. You're going to palm it like this, right? Because what that'll do is, with a nice little short butt on the rod, when you wind up the slack, it's just a little pop. You can pop it up. You're not touching anything, even with a fat belly like mine. You're not touching anything. So you're just winding the slack up and you're popping it. If you're lifting the rod right up, what you're doing is you're pulling that lure far too far away from the bite zone. So you wait until it hits the bottom. You're using your hand like this, and it's all like in your wrist. So you're using your wrist and just a couple little pops off the bottom. All right. So you can see that I'm all in the wrist. A couple of jiggles and work it through. So this is what we're using today, is the ZX40, which is a little blade. And I'll probably do a screenshot of that later, but just make sure your reel's set up, your drag's good. So what you got to do, all right, you just cast it out a little bit forward, all right, obviously as far as you can cast it. Now, these are very, just wait, watch the line, make sure the line's there, all right, watch it when it hits the bottom. Right, it'll go slack. See it go in slack then? And then all you do is you wind up a little bit of slack and you just pull it up, and wind up the slack and let it hit the bottom. Pull it up, wind up the slack and hit the bottom. See how the line goes slack when it hits the bottom? Go. Pull it. Alright, and it's called hopping it off the bottom. You just want little hops. You got to wind the slack up before you pull the rod tip up. Scar. It's itchy enough without a fly landing on it. That's what happens when you start to heel. You're winding that slack up. Every time you don't do, is that a fish? No. Okay. Let it go. Keep your feet. So this is a snag, right? So what we do is we don't try and embed the hooks too much, and we're just going to try and jiggle it off by using the electric motor to go right up on top of the snag. Sometimes you can just pull it out the other side, because you don't want to lose the lure. Keep your feet. So what we're doing here is we're looking at about 4 to 6 metre water, and we're just casting the bank. So we're just letting the ZX hit the bottom. We're just doing a couple of hops. So we're just letting the lure hit the bottom, and then with a couple of hops, and then let it hit the bottom again. And then again, a couple of hops, hit the bottom, and just repeat that process over and over and over again. Rightio, so what we're doing here is we're holding the rod in the palm of your hand. You've got your finger touching the blank so you feel the sensitivity through the lure. Alright, we've got a little short putt. This is a Wilson 6'10" bladed tails rod. So nice little light outfit. So when we cast it out, alright, we're aiming to stay in that 4 to 6 metres of water mark. But when we cast it out, we want to wait till it hits the bottom. You can see my fingers always touching the plank. I've got the palm of my hand so I can do what I'm going to show you here in a second. Alright, now it's hit the bottom. I just wind the slack up gently and it's just a pop with the rod. All in your wrist, just popping with the rod. Wait for it to touch, wait for the slack to go in the line. With Yellowbelly, don't be frightened to leave it sometimes 5-10 seconds just sitting on the bottom and I'll pick it up. So just always feeling everything. You can feel the lure's working, there's no weed on it. Just by having that finger touching the blank, just giving it a bit of a touch like this. Rightio. All good. So what we're going to do is we're going to just keep working this bank at about a 45-degree angle. So we just stay out in the, just a little bit past the depth. I'm sitting in 10 metres of water at the moment. Alright, so we're casting that 4 to 8 metre zone, just on a slight 45. So just keep that blade or any of the lures on the bottom, whether it's a jig or a blade or a plastic, and we're just going to keep popping that through. Make sure you got your finger touching the blank. That's the key to feeling every little touch or bite. And just keep working along, not too fast. Because once your line gets to in line with you and it starts to go behind, it's too hard to feel the pickup. You know, to feel where your lure's touching the bottom or not. So I might as well just wind it back in, start again, just keep casting on the 45. I'm just working into the breeze here. I personally find working into the breeze is a lot easier. Some people find working with it. So we're just going to keep popping the lure, let it touch the bottom, and a pop, pop, pop. Work it all the way back to the boat. And I just had a bite. I felt him bite that on the way down. Didn't fully commit to it, but that's obviously a good sign. So I'm going to cast back in there, into that same spot, see if I can catch a fish. It was a very, very tentative bite, that one. And once again, we're just waiting for it to hit the bottom. I can't stress enough to have that finger touching the blank of your rod. You will feel everything. It'll change your fishing. Pretty that time. There you go. School already, so I'd say. Oh yeah, stay there. Yeah, so just seen the school already's come to the top, so what we'll do